which will pop a card in your opponent's
Let's go
hand.
learn Labyrinth.
Then set big welcome that's in your grave to do this again next turn. Now if you have a good card to discard in hand like transaction roll back, you'll want to search for a furniture card. Can discard it to set big welcome. This will allow you to summon Lovely next turn, and if your big welcome gets ash blossomed, you can just copy big welcome's effect again with roll back that's in your grave. If you don't have big welcome, don't have a good card to discard as well, just keep it simple and search your big welcome. Nadir's Servant is also a great starter. Activate it. Send Garura from extra deck to grave, search for Ecclesia. Garura will then draw you a card, then normal summon Ecclesia. Search for Dogmatica Punishment. Punishment can destroy 2 cards. Ecclesia also serves as a body to return with Big Welcome's effect. For Ariane, you usually want to summon it if you have roll back in hand. Activate it. Discard roll back to summon Ariana. Ariana on summon will search, and as I already told you what to search with it, I don't have big welcome nor do I have a good discard with the furniture, so I just search for big welcome. Now I'll teach you an infinite loop with the 3 furniture cards. I have Stovey and Enchanter Gleer, so with Ariana I will search Ku Clock. You then want to activate Ku Clock. Then activate Chunder Gleer. Make sure you activate Chunder first, not Stovey, because you can activate Stovey later. Anyway, Chunder will also discard Stovey. Set big welcome. This will trigger Ku Clock to summon itself. Now activate big welcome to summon Lovely and return Ku Clock to hand. Which will trigger these 3. Activate all of Lovely, Stovey, and Chunder Gleer. Activate Lovely, set big welcome from grave. Activate Stovey now that's on your field, send itself to grave plus Chunder Gleer that's in your hand, set welcome Labyrinth. You can also set the field spell if you want. Then during your opponent's turn, when you want to destroy a card on field or in hand, activate welcome, summon Lady Labyrinth. Now activate big welcome. Chain Lady. Lady will set any trap from deck. Usually Dogmatica Punishment or Daruma. Summon Ariane and return Lady Labyrinth. This will trigger these 5 Labyrinth monsters. Activate all. Also activate Ku Clock. Chunder Gleer will add itself to hand. Stovey will summon itself. Ariana will draw 1. Ariane will also draw 1. And Lovely will pop a card in their hand. Stovey can now activate to send itself and discard Chunder Gleer. Set welcome Labyrinth. This will add back the Ku Clock to your hand. This is unlimited advantage because you can do this every single turn, with the furniture cards discarding each other then bringing themselves back. And Ku Clock reviving itself when the furniture cards are sent to grave. Means you can do this every turn for unlimited advantage. Now I'll show you turn 0 combos. Turn 0 basically means when you get to play during your opponent's turn when they go first. In this situation, you'll need Ku Clock and a furniture card. Activate Ku Clock. Activate Stovey or Chunder Gleer. Set big welcome. This will trigger Ku Clock to summon itself. Now you can activate Big Welcome to summon Lovely and return Ku Klok. This will trigger Lovely to destroy a card in hand or field, and Stovey or Chandra to recycle themselves. For this turn 0 play, you'll need a furniture, Big Welcome, and Lady in hand. Activate the furniture and discard the Big Welcome. Then chain Lady to summon itself. And with your furniture you'll want to set Big Welcome. This will allow you to activate the Big Welcome that's engraved to spin one card back from field to hand, and if you spin a monster, your furniture will recycle itself. Also, this means you can activate Big Welcome now during your turn and chain Lady. Set a trap from deck, summon Lovely from deck to pop a card. Another way, you'll need Imperm, furniture, and transaction roll back. First you'll want to use your Imperm to get it to grave. Then you'll need to activate your furniture, discard roll back. Set Big Welcome. This means you can now activate Imperm again that's in your grave by copying it with roll back. Now let's try to put everything we've learned to practice. With a hand like this, you'll want to normal summon Ariana, and since I have a furniture or Big Welcome, I can search for Ku Klok. Also always activate Lady to summon when you can before you activate a trap. Activate Ku Klok. Then activate furniture, and as I said, transaction roll back is a good discard target. Set Big Welcome. Ku Klok will now bring itself back. Activate Big Welcome, chain Lady. Lady will set any trap, ideally something like Daruma or punishment. Summon Lovely and return Ku Klok. Even if Big Welcome gets Ash Blossom, I can copy it with roll back that's in my grave. Anyway, activate Lovely. Chain Stovey. Stovey will summon itself and Lovely will pop a card in hand. Activate Lovely to set Big Welcome that's in your grave. End your turn. Then when you want to destroy a card in hand or field, activate Big Welcome, chain Lady. Also you can activate Ku Klok whenever. Chain Stovey. Stovey will set Welcome Labyrinth. Lady will set any trap, like Imperm or Dogmatica Punishment, while Big Welcome will summon Ariane and return Lady. This will trigger 5 Labyrinth monsters. Stovey will recycle. Ku Klok will recycle. Ariana and Ariane will draw 1. And Lovely will pop a card in hand or field. This is what Labyrinth can do if you learn the ins and outs. To counter Labyrinth, essentially you'll want to save Ash Blossom for their Big Welcome. You'll also want to banish their Lovely. This will halt their deck greatly. Also when they activate a trap, with Lady on their field, you'll want to chain any card effect to their trap so that Lady can't chain to set a trap from deck. Here's a ranked replay.
That is hilarious. The opponent had 2 called by. What a fucking interaction that was. Cool clock. No. Yoink.
Subscribe if this video helped. Here's my deck list. Thanks for watching.
Let me look at this real quick. Should I keep Dogmatica Maximus or should I change Dogmatica Maximus to Ecclesia? Maximus doesn't take a normal summon, which I think is very important. Maybe I should replace Lament for like more of the furniture as well. Damn. Oh boy, it's fucking adventure. This card is banned, right? Summoning tokens for link climbing is fucking atrocious. Oh my god, how do I fucking out this? And Destiny Hero fucking Destroyer too? Oh my god. Okay, I should have called by Destiny Hero. Fucking bullshit. We're going first this time. At least the bestials are not gonna be useful hand traps here. Were we supposed to summon again here? Why did I close the YouTube video? Pretty sure it's lady, right? Can I trigger big welcome twice? Should I trigger big welcome twice? Think there's anything worth doing past this point. What the fuck? Alright, I guess we're copying big welcome now. It's not a hard one per turn, holy shit. Why is before draw face even a fucking thing? It's such a stupid mechanic. It's such a stupid substep. Not as stupid as every substep in the battle phase, but stupid. Wood. Stupid. Well, why didn't Ariana's effect activate? Excuse me? Hell yeah.
Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka MBT, and we are back with another Twitter. Just watched that clip of Elon Musk where he tells the people who were advertising on Twitter to go F themselves. So I'm confident that we've got maybe 4 Twitter threads left. Anyway, today we're talking about cards that seemed okay, but turned out they were busted. As I've said in the tweet, sometimes Yu-Gi-Oh cards are clearly broken. Things like Kit Kalos and Arise Heart and BFD are printed to be powerful. You can read it in their text. But sometimes cards with kind of weird utility effects end up causing more damage than the aforementioned ones. And I'm going to begin with this one, Link Cross. This card came out in a set that had like 4 other cards that independently ruined the format. Cross was a staple in a significant amount of decks, mostly because of its interactions with Martial Metal Marcher. Frequently, what you would do is use Halcyon Fibrax to get an O-Lion, and then link off the Halcyon Fibrax for a Link Cross, and then summon 2 tokens, and then the O-Lion and token, a Martial Metal Marcher for the token, and then bring back the O-Lion, and then you have a million stars worth of material that you could use for any number of powerful Link plays. So, let's see what you fall. Barfa has a really interesting one. You all might not believe this because you were all born in
Is this still
2015,
Adventure?
especially you, Dyer.
No.
But when Soul Charge was first revealed, people immediately expected it was all right. Now keep in mind this was a time before, like, everyone was playing a deck that just shat out as many Xyz monsters as possible as early as possible. In fact, early decks immediately after the release of Soul Charge are playing, like, maybe 1 or 2 copies. It sucks to draw 2 of them, and you can't even attack. What if you're behind and you can't pay life points? Pretty soon people figured out that you should be maxing out on this card and playing it in every single deck. Despite this, still took until about 2019 for them to finally pull the trigger. Okay, so when Arcan replied with this, it really set my mind at ease. I don't think they expected Magical Scientist was going to be good. And for what it's worth, this card isn't really that good in a vacuum, especially in early Yu-Gi-Oh! When, like, oh, you win combat but can't win, isn't a convincing push. Yeah, when Magical Scientist released, he was a common. Last Will was a common. I don't think anyone put 2 and 2 together over there. Swag Kage says, fuck Cecil format. Correct! This card was around before then. Like, that stupid Buster Blader deck occasionally used this card, even though it wasn't very good in it. But, God, Union Carrier. This card single-handedly destroyed NR for about 2 before it got banned. So insanely busted for no good reason in any slower format, and it wasn't even used to try and Springgan, just everyone ran it in a trap format where the best spell trap removal is MST. Correct! Decisive Battle of Golgonda will destroy any format in which it is allowed to be played, because those formats are usually lower power. It just anything for being destroyed by battle or card effect, and lets you plus anytime anyone attempts it. The amount of board control this allows is insane, but at the time it was printed there were next to no monsters you could safely leave out alone, and it was considered jank for years. Correct. But I have to warn you, I knew someone who had cracked this card. Gavin's dad used to do this thing where he would just, like, read every card in the bulk and try and figure out like synergies that went undiscovered, and figured out this card was broken, I think like in Frognark back in like 2009. So now you know where he gets it. This card in Infernoble was extremely annoying, but there's one a little further down that I want to explore even more than this one. I Wish I Was Dead has the follow-up tweet to Dyer's about Smoke Grenade of the Thief. Yes, Power Tool Braver Dragon seems unassuming at first, like Isolde already does something similar, why would it be broken? Well, in the OCG you use it to equip Smoke Grenade of the Thief and Rod of Silence KS, which says negate other spell effects that target the equipped monster and destroy those spell cards. KS would also get you 2 hand rips because you could use Baron de Fleur to tag into it. Whoa. Siberian says, from what I remember when they were first previewed, the bulk of the conversation was about splashing them in other decks. Very few people were thinking about playing them all together as their own strategy. It did not play out like that. I do like their follow-up post. Considering they debuted at Rare, my pet theory is that Konami also didn't see them coming. It was cool to remember people saying things like, oh, Blaster's a nice piece of removal for that new Battle Inboxer deck. Who would have thought that non-once-per-turn special summon from the graveyard plus Book of Moon was problematic, especially when sent by Shooting Riser or Curious on command? Shooting Riser? Oh, no, wait, no, yeah, Shooting Riser. This was far from the most problematic card where it was legal both times, but I'm glad Snow's time has gone. Isn't Snow a common on first print? They were like, oh yeah, the Fairy Tale archetype where we remake the little Fairy Tale girls. You'd think this card only works in a dedicated Mystic Mind stun strategy, but this card is just good in general. Yeah, on release, like, the card enables a really toxic deck. It's not like everyone's going to play it, though. Hardlake Jones got a great one, the Tyrant Neptune. Hardlake says, I used to collect these. I thought they had potential. No one else seemed to think so. I got a whole bunch out of bulk bins for pennies. Years later, it ended up being used with a combo so powerful and degenerate that the CG banned it before the other half was even legal. That is correct. Lyrilisc Independent Nightingale is a fusion monster you could summon off of instant fusion and then immediately use as material to tribute for the Tyrant Neptune. Because that card checks the stars on the monster that is currently activated, this card really FTK'd like nobody's business. And for what it's worth, this combo is really, really searchable. There's a rank 4, King of the Pharolymphs, some of you may remember from Frog Watch-alongs, that gets this out like nobody's business. Notably, in the Masochist Banlist tournament, we usually try and release as many cards as possible, but I think this card has never been one of the cards we've released. Scarlet's correct. It didn't destroy a format by itself, already engaging in branded apologia. Well, she's on brand, if nothing else. But this was a bulk common that read as total liquid ass. On release, it was barely played. It saw sparse use with Ido, then one person topped an MCS with Puppet, and it spread quickly and became a main win condition. I don't think it was an MCS. Yeah, upon release, Branded Expulsion was kind of expected to be another one of those pack filler lore cards. Then people started trying out, I think it was Ra's Disciple, and then later Ido. It really took like months before it was like, no, this is your main win condition. Yo, what's up, guys? We're going to begin with Grinder Gold. Who would have thought this random GX anime guy would suddenly appear in 2018 to turn your hand traps off, and you open it up hand traps and you kill them with the Sun format? It was so frustrating. People were scraping the bottom of the barrel to play around hand traps during that format. I remember Goki pilots playing Exchange, but Neospace Aqua Dolphin being consistently part of your setup combo, so annoying. Recent example, broken is an exaggeration, but this little common doggy that no one but Coder cared about created a tier 1 deck out of something barely scraping rogue, and Coder didn't care about this either! Famously said he didn't want to play the new Unchained cards because he thought they were bad, and they didn't do anything the deck wanted. Unchained went almost completely undiscovered by the OCG, where it was like, fine, but not really innovated to the level that it has been in the TCG. Now it's the best deck! Like, it's hard to explain that on Doom release, these cards were incredible, available, and almost no one wanted them. A great one out of it. This is the connection between two obviously broken cards of Scythe and Hulk that might not have fucked up pre-pote otherwise. So first we get DPE release. I played in an LCS and got 17th during the last subathon. And one of the reasons I got 17th, I lost Inswiss to Triff. I got him to a point where he couldn't do anything with his board, and he ended on Halka Fibrax with 1 card set. I thought, oh, I've won. Only for him to activate Halka Fibrax, tag out to Wonder Magician, and pop a Scythe, at which point I went, oh no, everyone can do that. And everyone did that. Starting off as basically unplayable, this card became super annoying as time went on, especially with the release of cards that say 2 fuckos that share a zip code and favorite indie film. Correct. Super polymerization, really frustrating anytime that it's legal and like we have right now with 5-card Blowjob Brother Suite in the extra. But this card originally at release was terrible. There's just nothing to do with it. Based on this thread, I think we can cut Konami some slack when they print cards that turn out to be huge design mistakes. As we've learned over the course of this thread, sometimes the players miss them too. Henry Kissinger, a respected American scholar and statesman, died today at his home in Connecticut. Oh, I feel like the music is like undercutting this solemn moment. But I have no way to turn it off. I'm so sorry. It's just a Mimi background theme. Oh God.
That was pathetic. Wait, why am I going first? Oh, you can add from the graveyard as well. I see now why they only bother with having one dogmatic ecclesia the virtuous. Further proof that I don't read. Let's destroy a card from Johann. Didn't think this through very well. What? Oh, because I have Labyrinth. Fuck. Force them to go first. That's hilarious. I'll get like a +10 from this. Clock I'm out of getting Crystron and Well, they already got Crystron. I meant Crusadia. Did we face up? Let's just tell their entity and hope for the best then. Yeah, it goes Bell. I think we're all Gucci from here. Oh, it activates immediately, right? I'm so smart. Pretty sure I still win though. Oh, yeah, I should've. It's really requires lots of neurons to play these big booba ladies.
Gamers, gals, and my non-binary pals. Welcome back to, of course, the greatest drama channel of all time. And of course, we're dunking on Yu-Gi-Oh! Because, of course, it's my favorite thing to do, and I have nothing better going on in my life. Outside of, I guess, going to the Haktua booth at Spirit Halloween. And we're here to, of course, talk about the biggest event, hypothetically, that happened recently, YCS Cancun. Now, YCS Cancun took place over the October 5th and 6th weekend, and I was actually kind of excited to go. I didn't personally go. Konami actually responded to me and my ban appeal. Please unban me, Konami. I waited 4 long years for this. Child, I just don't think you're ready yet. YCS Cancun would have been a really nice location. It's in Mexico, the culture's great, the food's great, the language is great, the location's amazing. But, unfortunately, there's one thing that wasn't that.
Let me try the butler again.
Yeah, that's the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card. Got very cheap. YCS Cancun, round 3. This room was full as fuck last year. You can definitely tell literally nobody came. It was actually a fucking national travesty. Well, a lot of people are just not really having fun this moment. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is at a literal all-time high of people feeling just completely dissatisfied, people quitting the game, people leaving the game because it's extremely expensive. People are just getting priced out. Like, this game is extremely fuck all expensive. Like, you guys thought that, like, the Snake Eye stuff being in the benches of St. Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know how to tell you this, but that deck isn't very good anymore, or at least compared to what it used to be. Now it's the U-Bell's time to rise. And outside of the Beanslick stuff, you gotta pick up these bad boys. Ooh, oh my god. Holy shit, these fucking Turbo Tank. What happened? Did I miss something? Did this get, like, reprinted in, like, a fantasy universe format? Oh my god. Yeah, I guess people are just sick of this fucking deck. People are also sick of guess. Remember when this card was like $100 at its peak? I remember selling one for like money.
This is yet another deck that really struggles going second. Oh my god, you don't want to draw Dogmatica, Ecclesia, and Lovely Lady. This is a brick if I've ever seen one, man.
But when you look at like the volume of sales for Engraver, you'll look at like July, where people are kind of
We will negate you.
because we got the announcement that won't be in August. Then we got like a bunch of offloading. August, a lot more offloading, a lot more supply, a lot more offloading, and then once we got by 30th, where we got our banlist
we will destroy you.
And this little graph, there seems to be a pretty flat trend. In fact, it's so flat, it's literally here. The Engraver, a card
Why?
it's not going to be banned for like the next 2 to 3 months, or limited, or hit in any capacity. Like, this card's going to be definitely sticking around. Like, they've literally just printed support for it in Rhoda, in White Woman Lacrima, and September 21st, no sales. 22nd, no sales. 3rd, no sales. 4th, no sales. 5th, no sales. 6th, no sales. 7th, 8th, 9th, 30th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, it's 7th only filming it, so I can't go up to 8. But you guys get the idea. This cards are like at an all-time low in the sense where people are just offloading cards because people are sick of the format. There's no good way to say it outside of just people are sick of Yu-Gi-Oh! People are sick of Konami's practices. And it's a very frustrating time to be a Yu-Gi-Oh! Player. Because overall, like, why would people play a game that not only doesn't respect you,
I was supposed to attack Apprentice Illusion so I would die.
Or like a
and then I'd be able to activate Nadir.
This format has some skill, blah, blah, blah.
I
like, sure,
keep forgetting about how defense position.
It might be like kind of interesting to play engine versus engine, but at the same time, have like Tenpai, which is like the most frustrating
punishment
to have ever done it. The format has skill, but just can't afford to play. I don't even think it's that. As soon as we got like the Fiendster stuff, we've entered like a new era of just like, alright, I guess this is now just like the most oppressive combo deck of all time, with disgusting amounts of recovery now because of Edmund Throne, as well as Phantom of Yubel, just being like this infinite cycle. What about Thrust? Ooh, oh my god. I remember feeling like physically sick having to buy these for like $40, $50. Oh brother. Oh, this card was like $50, $60 like not too long ago, and now it's just like, again, everyone's getting average daily sold 2. Rest in peace, Thrust. Hardly knew you. Average daily sold. Why? People just don't want to play this game anymore. And finally, it's actually starting to show in the sense where people are just no longer even showing up to events. I was talking to Boxy the other day, and they're like, yeah, what's really the point of like playing Yu-Gi-Oh? It's just like way too expensive. No reason. Just play on Dueling Book. At least Dueling Book, at least you could say you're rank 1 at something. This format is cool and everyone checked out of it. The game has never been better. Groundbreaking. Remember when people were saying, like, OMG, the game isn't dying? We've had, like, record-breaking attendances at YCS's. And that was, like, true for, like, all the weirdest reasons that just weren't Yu-Gi-Oh related. Like, a lot
Shit,
of
it
people
was
showed up to
banished.
events, yes. But it wasn't
Oh
to
my
play
god,
these
this is
games, you know what I
atrocious.
mean? Like, this might sound weird, but people show up to not always to play Yu-Gi-Oh! A good portion of people only show up to play side events, or stuff like Ultimate Time Wizard, or just to hang out with friends. That's what I do sometimes, where, like, YCS Vegas, my friends would just play at the venue, and I would just go to Caesar's Palace, or, like, MGM, or, like, the Bellagio. I would just, like, gampa, or, like, go eat Roslyn, go to, like, restaurants, or like, come nighttime, we would just, like, reconvene, like, dinner at, like, a restaurant. And, like, they would tell me about their, like, tournament run, and blah, 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 blah. And I'll be real, I probably had way more fun, you know, just, like, dicking around in Vegas, like, more than they did, having to, like, sweat a 3v3, all playing Snake Eye, you know what I mean? That's why I was late during COVID, not because the game was amazing, but because people wanted to hang out. Exactly. That's, like, the second reason that I wanted there. But, like, a year and a half after, like, COVID, quote-unquote, ended, now that's all the people not COVID. But a lot of people were only playing the game or, you know, like, going to YCS or whatever, just as an excuse to, like, hang out with their friends once again. It wasn't because, like, they liked the game time or whatever. Like, kind of had fun with our friends. So, like, yeah, even though, you know, YCS would say, like, oh, we had, like, record attendance or so many people here, was it really all of them to play the main event? Or was it just, like, people they kind of head counted in the venue? Or a percentage of people who just signed up to the YCS playmat, as well as some packs, and then immediately dropped to go, like, do a different event? You know what I mean? Toronto locals seeming to do significantly worse compared to last year, too. Attendance has dropped, pricing has worsened. Sad to see, TBH. We've talked about this a billion times. Stores are also finding it, like, financially viable for a Yu-Gi-Oh product for, like, many reasons that we've listed before, such as the fact that Yu-Gi-Oh product is more expensive and difficult to get a hold of, just because Konami artificially kind of restricts it at times, as well as the fact that some sets are just so horrible, there's no point in buying in any capacity, or some sets are so incredibly good or I think of exactly the set Rhoda, where a lot of people are just like put into the world's shittiest decision, where I'm either going to have to buy a ton of sealed product and have to pay Jerome Powell's fucking clown gas analogy, or I have to shell out like $300 to $400 for singles. I'm realistically only going to use it like the locals at regional level, and maybe at nationals if this card isn't banned yet. I have 32 to 50 players, now it's like 18 to 16 on weekends. Rest in peace. I've seen a locals die out that way. It is never a pretty sight. I've seen a locals go from 64 people average to 8. That's horrifying. Shoutouts to garbage management. Rest in peace. By the way, chat, not being able to afford Yu-Gi-Oh! Couldn't be me, baby. Oh god, yes. These cards. Don't buy these cards. Don't buy these cards. You don't fucking need them. These cards, unless you're exactly going to, like, YCS Niagara, or, like, you're playing Tenpai, like, you don't need to spend $150 on this. If you're only going to be playing at the local level. This shit is, like, actually how Konami gets you. Rest in peace my fucking bank account. I'm not sure if I can pay my mortgage. Good. Let Konami see how badly they're hurting TGG's side with their stupid everything as SCR tins. Their prize is a console and a worthless card. The only ban everything's a super powerful replacement is printed, etc. So much to change. Remember for like 2 minutes when everyone was like, OMG, we're so back because the EUYCF had a Steam Deck as pricing. It's like, wow, Steam Deck, back chest.
That didn't help.
Steam Deck, and it's like, oh, I guess it's like $300, $400. Oh, I wonder how much a Nintendo Switch costs.
Maybe I should have waited until a normal summon.
Different, but wow, awesome. It can play Master Duel. So true. We played Legacy of a Duelist on this. We got Kenny Nugent. I went last year and way more than double the players. Last month, LA Regionals California had 9 rounds. I've been playing for 10 plus years, and it's the first time ever it's not been 10 rounds. Just not worth it anymore. If you guys don't know, SoCal and like NorCal are some of the most population dense cities of Yu-Gi-Oh players, like right around like Philly and Florida. And etc. And California is one of those places where like a random regional in San Jose will just randomly go to like 9 or 10 rounds for like no good reason. Because it just got so many players. And now people aren't really that interested anymore. Locals everywhere declined heavily already. YCS Bologna might be even 1,700 or less players. Big changes or consequences. First of all, that's a huge thing because YCS Bologna is one of the only that we're getting this year, or for the rest of the year, honestly. And secondly, shout out to Dinka fam with going to like the Disney Borgata Cup Seattle in this profile. But third, like locals attendance is also not great. You may say like local changes and blah 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 blah. But the big thing in my eyes was the Rota sneak peek event, where when it comes to like almost any meta defining sneak peek, think of how packed your Age of Overlord sneak peek was. Think of how packed your Phantom. And then my friends went to the Rhoda sleeping, and there was like 15 people there. It almost felt like a why are we doing this moment? It literally felt like there wasn't really a point in going to locals anymore because just everyone was just so mentally checked out of the format. This is just like what's the point? Rhoda Sleep didn't even launch at my locals. Yeah, don't even qualify for Sleeps anymore because they don't get the required attendance or don't run enough events in order for Konami to be like, all right, we will qualify you for the sneak peek. If you think just like being an OTS automatically allows you to like qualify for like ABC, like Konami thing, you're dead wrong. Because certain events like sneak peeks and Yu-Gi-Oh! They only allow that to stores that reach certain attendance and tournament output thresholds. And if you don't meet those, you might as well just not even have an OTS. It's really bad right now. NorCal regionals all had 250-ish players. During COVID, we had 490 players for the first regionals coming back. It's been downhill ever since. Local scene dying due to the change in pricing policy from OTS policy and bad product to bad pricing. Yeah, just repeating the same old game dying, game bad. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments section down below regarding the Yu-Gi-Oh format, what your local attendance was, having fun playing the game. But thank you guys for being here, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
I was trying to fish for getting. Field spell, but guess we're not gonna get it. I don't think we're gonna need it anyway. The deck's is very mid overall. So it still definitely isn't all that powerful. It's very reliant on interruptions. If you can't interrupt, you will get destroyed.
With this in mind, there are 31 new characters in the Guardian class, 32 new characters in the Kabloom class, 28 new characters in the Mega Grow class, 34 new characters in the Smarty class, and 27 new characters in the Solar class. There were a few kind of difficult decisions I had to make though, like excluding Juggernaut from the count since it's the same character as Iron Maiden, as both look similar while not differing in purpose wildly, as proven by Juggernaut's armored trait. I included Ensign Uproot and Lieutenant Caratron, even though they're superpowers since they're the only plant superpowers that aren't tricks, but rather actual plants. I only included Hothead as part of the Guardian count, so it wasn't counted twice. It's of species, it does look exceptionally similar to the Weed character from Garden Warfare 2, but I bent the rules slightly to include it as a new character. This is because invasive species is actually meant to be an alien, not a weed. It's proven by its head antenna and the fact that it comes down in an aircraft, unlike the weeds which come from underground. Also, its description confirms that it isn't a weed, but aspires to be one. For what it's worth, the Plants vs. Zombies wiki agrees with me here, stating that it's based on the Garden Warfare 2 weed character, but is entirely its own thing. I did count Jolly Holly as a new plant, so it functions differently to Holy Barrier and has its own name too. Really tricky case was Sunny as Sunshrew. I ended up including it to the count because it doesn't function like a Sunshrew. It has its own name, and its description even calls it Sunshroom's bigger brother, proving they're different characters. You could argue that the functional difference isn't significant, which is probably true, but I gave it the benefit of the doubt due to its description. In total, there were 160 new characters in Plants vs. Zombies Heroes, which is kind of insane to think about. This game hasn't had nearly as many updates as Plants vs. Zombies 2, and we didn't even count tricks and environments, yet it nearly has the same amount of new characters. Despite the fact that basically no one knows about this game, we have to take a look at it. Plants vs. Zombies Match is a game that's actually live right now,
What
but
a
it has
lovely
been in a
hand.
state of development limbo for years, drawing many parallels to Plants vs. Zombies 3. It's actually really hard to find any significant information about this game, maybe because people don't care that much about a Match 3 game that isn't even being developed by PopCap themselves. I don't know. From what I could find, the only new characters in this game are Backpedal, Sawgrass, and Pinwheel. Backpedal and Sawgrass are from the old 3D versions of Plants vs. Zombies, but Backpedal never made it to the game as it was scrapped in development, so this is actually the only Plants vs. Zombies game it ever made it into. Sawgrass, on the other hand, did make it into the old Plants vs. Zombies 3, which will be important later. These two characters don't actually impact the gameplay, their assets were just recycled as NPCs for the story sequence of the game, which is kinda sad. Pinwheel, on the other hand, was directly involved in the gameplay, but was later replaced by Starfruit. Much like Silversword from Plants vs. Zombies 3, Pinwheel still counts, even though it was scrapped. It was a character at some point.
And you
With
want
Plants vs. Zombies
Eternal
Match
Soul?
completed, we've covered every currently live Plants vs. Zombies game. Well, not really, but more on that very soon. Summing up all the game's totals gives us an impressive 541 plant characters across the board. Honestly, that was a lot more than I was expecting. In case you haven't noticed, we're not even close to being done with this video. These 541 characters are just scratching the surface of what's to come. To reach a truly objective answer to this video's question, we have to go so much deeper. Notice how I said we're done with the currently live games? Well, let's explore the lesser-known discontinued games, shall we? Plants vs. Zombies Adventures was a mildly obscure 2010s Facebook game, live from early 2013 to late 2014, which I'm sure was pretty cool for the two of you who played it. Needless to say, it didn't do nearly as well as the mainline games. It still contributed a fair amount of characters to the franchise though, some of which have since become recurring characters, including Fire Pea and Chili Pepper. But we're not interested in those characters, since we've already counted them as part of Plants vs. Zombies 2. What we're really interested in are the plants that have been long forgotten since this game came out. Magnet Plant was this game's answer to Magnet Shroom, and there's clearly a case for it to be a new character since it has its own name, and it's not even a mushroom anymore, as it has stems and leaves. most other plants. In my opinion though, this is the same character as Magnetrum and won't count in total. It still remains largely unchanged visually, functions nearly identically, and the game even accidentally calls it Magnetrum when you first obtain it. This is similar to how Garden Warfare accidentally calls P Repeater in some cases. Apart from that, there are 12 actually new characters in this game, and one of them is called Power Flower, not to be confused with this Power Flower or that Power Flower. Honestly, I could go on another tangent about this, but I've become desensitized to how ridiculous the naming conventions this franchise are while making this video. At least they didn't call it Toolnut Flower or something. Oh yeah, and we have one last group of plants to talk about, the trees. These were a group of decorative items that you could use to decorate your base, but they could also talk like the Tree of Wisdom from the first game, giving you a line of dialogue when you clicked on them. Crazy Dave's up to no good again, I see. I don't know why talking trees is such a recurring theme in these games, well, I have my theories. But either way, these guys do count. Since there's so little information about them, it's hard to categorize them properly. All I know is that there are 7 different types of trees, which probably all act the same and have the same dialogue, but look different. I can't find any names for them, if they even had unique names at all. I can't find out if each one said specific lines of dialogue that the other ones didn't. I can't find out if the type of tree was just randomly selected, or if you could buy and select which type of tree you wanted to place. Even though information about the trees is so scarce, I realize that it doesn't matter, as we already have enough information to classify them. Since we know that their main purpose is decoration, their aesthetics are their functionality. We know that each tree species is significantly different aesthetically, just by looking at them, which means they're also significantly different functionally, since they decorate your base in different ways. This meets 2 criteria points, so they can be counted as new characters. This gives us 5 new characters. The 2 variants of Oak Tree are 1 character, the Apple Tree is a character, the Orange Tree is a character, the 2 variants of Pine Tree are 1 character, and the Bacon Tree is a character. Why does Bacon Tree exist? Your guess is just as good as mine. So, Plants vs. Zombies Adventures yields 17 new characters. Anyway, let's move on, because it's kind of crazy that it took just as much time in this video to classify 160 new characters and heroes than it did to classify just 17 characters in a defunct Facebook game that lasted less than 2 years. Earlier in the video, I said we would also count the many characters from the old Plants vs. Zombies 3 versions, which is exactly what we'll do now. There are a total of 15 characters from this game that we haven't seen yet, including Aloe Vera, which is separate to Aloe from Plants vs. Zombies 2, as supported by its Almanac entry. Included in this count are also 2 NPCs, the Star Tree and the Magic Beans, which we didn't include in Plants vs. Zombies Heroes since they were a trick, not a plant. This count also excludes Sawgrass since it was counted already in Plants vs. Zombies Match, the sole survivor of the complete annihilation of the old Plants vs. Zombies 3. With 32 new characters across these 2 discontinued games, our running total now reaches 573 characters. Okay, surely we're done now, right? No. Again, this video isn't even close to being over, because on the other side of the world there's this little thing called China! Well, it's nowhere near little geographically, but it's so little in terms of my viewership that it doesn't even show up in my statistics. That would be because YouTube is banned in China. So if you're my one viewer from China watching through some crazy strong VPN, let me know in the comments. This would probably be a really great opportunity to segue into a VPN sponsorship, but this video isn't sponsored, so don't worry about double tapping 60 seconds ahead. Anyway, China has a lot of exclusive Plants vs. Zombies games for some reason, and consequently a lot of exclusive plant characters. So if I had little knowledge about Plants vs. Zombies Adventures, I know basically nothing about any of the games we're going to be discussing, so let me know if I get anything wrong. My experience of Chinese Plants vs. Zombies doesn't go much further than messing around with the level editor in Plants vs. Zombies 2 China. Either way, this is going to be as much of an adventure for me as it is for you, so let's start. Despite sounding like a Chinese port of Plants vs. Zombies 2, Plants vs. Zombies 2 China, or 2C, is in many aspects a completely new game. It has so much more content, including new worlds, a level editor, and an actual real-time PvP mode. It's actually criminal that all of this is exclusive to China, even if the quality is less appealing than the quantity. For the sake of this video, we don't care about any of that stuff. What we care about is new characters, and this game definitely has us covered. I'm not going to be going into as much detail about what most of these plants are or do, but if you want to know a lot of that stuff, Flag Zombie has a very detailed series of videos covering them, which I highly suggest checking out. Let's start off with the worlds ported for the international version, then get to exclusive worlds later. The Chinese Dark Ages has one new character, Oak Archer. Big Wave Beach has an Acid Lemon and Lotus Pod, Frostbite Caves has Rafflesia and Whirlwind Acorn, Lost City has Neo Mixtape 2 has Morning Glory, and Jurassic Marsh has Primal Rafflesia, Dino Raw Glass, Dino Raw Grass, Timid Thorns, and Sugarcane Master. Now, time for the exclusive worlds. Kung Fu World has Resistant Radish, Fire Gourd, Heavenly Peach, and Bamboo Shoot. Yes, this is the third new character to be called Bamboo Shoot. It looks and functions completely different to the other two Bamboo Shoots. Sky City has Loquat, Saucer, Horsebeam, Ground Cherry, Anthurium, I definitely butchered that, Pineapple, and Asparagus, which has nothing to do with Asparagus from Plants vs. Zombies Adventures. Steam Age has Flat Shroom, Lotus Shooter, Vanilla, Maypop Mechanic, Lily of Alchemy, and Mulberry Blaster. Renaissance Age has Bearberry Mortar, Wax Gourd Guard, Oily Olive, and Jeweler Pomegranate. Iron Age has 6 characters that I'm just going to show on screen because I'd have an aneurysm trying to pronounce all of those in one take. And the Fairy Tale Forest Secret Realm has Ent, Hat Mushroom, Princess Springgrass, and Bamboo Trooper. And the Fairy Tale Forest Secret Realm has Ent, Hat Mushroom, Princess Springgrass, and Bamboo Trooper. Across all the worlds, there are a total of 42 new characters. On top of this, there are a whopping 70 new monthly special plans, which, from what I can tell, are kind of like premium plans for an international version. There are way too many of these to name them all, so I'm just going to name a few ones that piqued my interest. Namely, Bane of My Existence Bamboo, Bamboo Passport Bros, Insert Immature Joe Kid, Queso Dragon, and Average American School Student. Don't forget to tip your landlord Bamboo, guys. One of the monthly special plants, Pumpkin Witch, shoots mini pumpkins at zombies, which control the zombie they haunts, so it fights for you. However, this mini pumpkin also isn't given a name, and is graphically a part of the Pumpkin Witch's design, so it doesn't count. Another Chinese exclusive feature is artifacts, which are consumable items kind of like power-ups. I think. One of these arcades is the arcade artifact, which spawns 8-bit pea shooters. And for some reason, there's virtually no information about this plant on the internet. Even more so
How
than
do I
the trees
fucking
or
out
inventions.
this thing?
And even though I can barely figure out what this thing even does, it still has its own name and visuals, so it's a new character. Tactical Cuke, on the other hand, isn't a new character. This is because it functions similarly to its appearances in other games. It's literally just a nuke, and shares the same name. Apparently, the Tactical Cuke in Garden Warfare was originally planned to keep the same design as this game, but later in development they decided to revamp its design, which, to be fair, was definitely the right call because the Garden Warfare design looks like an actual weapon, while this one just looks like a constipated green blob. There's also this new character called P-Mech Assembler Flamestar, which is definitely something. The last character we have to talk about for 2C is Rotten Red, which is a plant that was designed by an 8-year-old boy named Miles while he was visiting the PopCap studios for a Make-A-Wish campaign. Then over in China, the 2C devs just went, you know what, let's just make it a real plant in our game without asking for any permission, which they did. Then it was removed in the very next update for obvious reasons. That's just something you'd never expect to happen in the Plants vs. Zombies universe. In total, Plants vs. Zombies 2C includes 115 new characters, which is just insane to me, since it's just meant to be a Chinese version of the game that already has hundreds of characters itself. Oh yeah, and one last thing. The costumes actually alter the plant's functionality, unlike the international version. So you could make the case that these are their own characters. However, if you remember all the way back to the Plants vs. Zombies 2 part of the video, I did add the extra rule that characters don't count if they're purely an added-on boost or power-up to an existing character, so none of these costumes count. Believe it or not, that's it for the fully live Chinese Plants vs. Zombies games. Adding the characters to Plants vs. Zombies 2C brings us up to 688 characters. You might be thinking, I thought you said there were a bunch of Chinese exclusive games, and you would be correct. But almost all of them are partially or fully discontinued and unplayable. Well, apart from an AR trading card game that doesn't have any characters. As we dive even deeper into the discontinued Chinese Plants vs. Zombies games, keep in mind some of these alternate content have not been very well preserved. This has made researching these games very difficult, but I've tried my best to salvage as much information